our neighbours again, a Chinese couple. I think they have some kind of language school going on in there. I quite often see teenage kids being dropped off. Maybe they're tutors of some sort.
Maybe they're manicures.
Maybe.
Zone 1.
Hello, neighbour. Hi.
Zone 2.
Okay. San Juan. St. John.
Zone 3.
St. John Avenue.
Zone 2.
There's Bill and Natasha and Finnegan and David. You want to go round? We figured
Right.
we'll give you the whole sidewalk today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Zone 4. You got it on?
Stop for Hello. Still working on that yard. I think originally it was drainage they were doing. And then the tree got in the way, so they took that out. This looks like a school party, doesn't it? Middle school, Gordon Head Middle School.
3 pairs of shirts. Zone 2.
Just over here where that skip is, they took out a cherry tree. It was the plumbing people again. And they had the little bobcat pulling the tree while the other guy was hacking away at the bottom. But that's where they left it, you know. I saw one of our normal people that we meet, and he was saying, I bet they don't have permission to remove that tree.
Zone 3. A cherry tree is okay.
Yeah? Maybe. That's what it was. All the old cherry trees are decaying. Guy's shifting.
It might depend how big the tree is, actually.
What? Whether they have to take it down?
Zone 3. They need a permit.
You can see that young runner, his cadence is pretty high. I think that's the secret. Lots of fast, short steps. I have my reminders on every kilometre now. So we should hear one soon.
Zone 2.
Come on, lady.
Time 7 minutes,
There
3
you
seconds.
go.
Distance 1 kilometers. Average pace 7 minutes, 3 seconds per kilometer. Cadence 76. Average heart rate 127. Workout average pace 7 minutes, 1 second per kilometer.
Oh, pretty fast. Even with all the walking.
Zone 3.
7 minutes. We've got 3 minutes to get to Harvest Lane. I was watching a program about mummification, thanks to Derek. Mummification. How they mummified Stalin and Lenin. They wanted to actually see the body. Anyway, that led me on to another video about the peat bogs. And there's been a couple of cases where they found,
Perfectly preserved.
well, pretty well preserved. So much so they called the police in, thinking it might have been a historic murder.
To be 500 years old.
2,000 years old. And there was this theory that they were doing analysis on their stomachs and on their organs and stuff.
Zone 4.
And they said it was funny that one of these kids, one of these peat bog people, didn't have any seafood in their body, no in their DNA or anything, whatever they would find it in. And it was weird because everybody in that neighborhood lived on a diet of oysters and stuff. So they figured, well, he might have been from out of town. That was the theory, that he might have grown up somewhere else. But they also said that he had traces of lead and zinc and mercury in his DNA or whatever. And
Where did they think was the source of that?
they thought he might have been an imported laborer because he might have been a tin worker. I don't know if we're going to be sweating much today, but it's a good temperature for exercise. But getting back to these peat mummies, they said that maybe they were being humiliated because they were all naked and they looked as if they'd been either tortured or ceremoniously executed. But then they found out later that it probably the peat, the acid in the soil, dissolved the clothing. Yeah. And they also said that in those days, just woven clothing was a sign of affluence. They would have had to be quite wealthy to have 2 or 3 layers of clothing. Yeah, otherwise you were wearing animal skins. Anything woven was classy. Yep, well,
Zone 4.
Zone 4. So 1 kilometer was where we know, that little pathway. It'd be interesting to see where the 2 is. I know where the 5 is.
Zone 3.
That's at the, what's it? The Mr.Rooter truck, that corner. Actually, more like Greek on the street. That's the 5 kilometer mark.
Zone 2.
It's a bit muddier than usual here today. Hello.
Zone 3.
They're doing some work on the soon-to-be open dog park or whatever. Oh no, it says dogs in park. It doesn't say dog park. This is probably telling you not to take your dog in there.
Zone 5.
Well, it said something about dogs in the park and a whole bunch of rules.
Zone 6.
So I initially thought it said dog park, but it's not that. It's a restoration area.
Zone 5.
So I'm guessing the 2K is going to be around here soon. What does your watch say?
Zone 4.
1.93
1.93. Oh.
from 700 meters.
700 or 70? 70 meters.
Oh, yeah.
Zone 3.
They were,
Zone 5.
they were talking about these new Nike shoes. They're thinking of banning them.
Yeah. There's too much.
Too much advantage?
Well, either every competitor has to have them or none of them.
Zone 6. Time 16 minutes 16 seconds.
Okay.
Distance
If
2
they can't
kilometers.
break the
Average pace
pattern
9 minutes
with
13
Nike,
seconds per kilometer. Cadence
make
68.
the
Average
Nike
heart rate 134.
Yeah.
Workout average pace 8 minutes 7 seconds per kilometer.
But what Nike should do is say that they will give them at a huge discount to all Olympics, because I'm sure they sell more of those shoes to non-Olympic people than.
Yeah, maybe they should just say, call elites a complete separate category, and the rest of us don't have to compete with those people anymore.
You can, but you have to buy the shoes yourself.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is, the poor countries, like, can you imagine Kenya putting up $400 for every pair of Nikes?
I don't know if they're that expensive, but they probably are pretty costly.
Especially if they're guaranteed you winning.
Well, there was all that talk about Oscar Pistorius, how his blades were an advantage, not a disadvantage. People were saying, oh, poor man, he can beat able-bodied runners. But he was running on springs with very little weight. We have to lug our feet around. He didn't.
Yeah, but these are basically, the springs are in the shoe.
Uh-huh.
It's a non-compressible carbon fiber. So every time you bend it, it reflects back up.
Uh-huh. Hello. So we'd probably favor heel runners, or heel strikers. There goes the 39. It's a carbon fiber insole.
And the energy you put into that.
They'd have to be pretty light as well. Pardon?
Carbon fiber is extremely light.
Yeah. It's what they use for those fancy road bikes. Carbon fiber frames. All right, 20 minutes. Through the chicane. Over where Norma tripped.
Zone 2.
Hello.
Zone 3.
Zone 3. Sounds good. And up we
Zone
go.
4.
There we go. That was a predictable zone 4.
Zone 3.
You know that frilly fern, it's called the turkey tail fungus, because it looks a bit like a turkey's tail.
The pollens,
No, the ones that grow on the stumps that have brown sort of rings.
next time you see them.
Yeah, well, we went past the one that I took a picture of a while back. We might see some more. Yeah, turkey tail fungus. No, fungus.
Zone 2.
I'm looking out for it now. But apparently you're supposed to break pieces off
Zone 3.
and boil them. I'm not sure. It's supposed to be good for something. I still haven't managed to crowdsource that information.
Zone 2.
I guess I could look it up in Wikipedia. Very true, Norma. Very true. If I see a turkey tail, I will take a picture of it.
Zone 3.
Sorry?
I thought you already had it.
I do, but one for today would be nice. Even those artificial crash barriers made of cement are growing moss. But I guess they grow on inert subsurfaces like
They just need to crevice of moisture.
just a little crack
Yeah.
to anchor
Those are
themselves.
texturized ones,
Uh-huh.
which they shouldn't have done.
Well, they wanted them to look like wood, but
Yeah, well then now they look like moss wood.
yeah. And they'll probably have to pay somebody to clean them up.
Well, they probably won't back. They probably just leave them in the desert.
It's not going to decay the cement. People hitting it in trucks, that's what breaks them. And this is that suicide drop. Let me just have a quick look. I know I'm scared of heights, but... Ooh. Wow. Yeah, I guess you'd be saved if you hit a tree. But you might end up breaking your neck. You did a head over heels and hit a tree. Well, it's supposed to be an adventure.
No, what I'm asking you what the message is.
They're pointing out things of interest. New sprouts, things like
Zone
that.
3.
Now look out there in Chinese.
Well, there's some kind of messages. It's supposed to be an instructive walk that you go from one to the next and read the messages. Litter. That's all it is now.
In Japan, they put messages
On a tree?
on the tree, but in the sacred gardens, it's like asking the Virgin or something.
Oh, yeah. So
But
that
it's asking one of the gods of the garden.
what for good luck and
Yeah,
prosperity.
I'm past my exam.
Oh, okay. I heard a podcast about Korean students. It's terrible. Some of them, they get up at 6, they study for 2 hours, go to school. Then after school, they go to the academy and study till about 9. And some of them go to the library after that. And then they have to drink energy drinks to stay awake. And they laugh about it. And they're prepared to give up family, marriage, all of that sort of thing for their career. They actually have a word for it. Talk about overachievers. And the suicide rate's very high because a lot of people feel they failed their family.
Zone 4.
Yeah, if they're not underwhelmed.
And a lot of them are giving up on families so that they can help to provide money for their parents.
Zone 3.
This is where they did the carcass toss. I'm not sure why they did that.
This is the environment.
Oh, nothing to do with the spawning
Yeah,
salmon,
they
because if
can-
the fish are dead... they're
They
not-
can find fish DNA in the trees.
Oh, so they can tell. I noticed they've done that with scat from animals. Bear that have eaten eagles that have been feasting on the far side of a watershed, they can tell because of the DNA in the salmon in the bear. Scat. I mean, they're getting pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, but they'd have to have both the eagle and salmon to say that, because otherwise the bears would just catch it themselves.
Well, the bear probably caught the salmon
Zone 2.
out of the river. That's right, yeah.
So the eagle isn't necessary.
No, it's another, probably another,
Predator.
yeah. I might have got my YouTube videos mixed up. I definitely saw one about bear scat and how they could tell what side of the mountain
But
range.
it's the same with the trees. They can trace the DNA.
They can
They
trace the
can tell
DNA
what stream the salmon came out.
from the tree DNA.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, Ash Road.
Zone 1.
Well, gave my heart a bit of a break waiting for that car. Eventually the car stopped for us. Instead of we waiting for the car to go by, we all stopped.
Zone 2.
Past the bench where we haven't seen the lady for a long time.
Zone 3.
Oh, there she is. Talk of the devil. Hello. How are you? You're back to your bench. I was just saying we haven't seen you in a while.
Oh.
Now there you appear, as if by magic. The bench lady appeared right on cue.
Well, as soon as you say,
Sorry?
it's very often as soon as you say we haven't or there aren't any,
Yeah.
they appear.
Oh, this is a no-brainer trip.
Right now you have no brain.
Yeah, now you just banged your brain on the ground because you lost attention for a half a second. Yeah. Murphy's Law. Yep. And the other week we were coming along here and we saw a family that were heading down for the carcass tossed into the river. And he appeared in the Spanish News in a photograph because I remember his yellow slicker. I believe I even said hello to him. He was part of the Bryce party. The woman, the politician lady. Was it Susan Bryce, you said?
Yeah.
Yep, I think he was Mr. Bryce. Mind you, she probably goes by her maiden name, Bryce. Sorry?
He might have been her son, but certainly not her husband.
The one with the yellow slicker, not the lanky tall guy. That might have been her son.
I don't think she had a husband.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yep, she must be Korean. She gave up on family and marriage.
Oh, he died. He went into politics.
Oh, okay, so he died. It's not always panning out the way I want it to. I can't
Zone 1.
alter the truth. I just have to estimate what it is. Or imagine what it is. I've now got one soaker.
Yeah, I saw it go in.
I'm definitely going to wash these shoes when we get back. Then I can take them to Uruguay.
Zone 2.
Yep, this has been a pretty leisurely run today, but it's what the body wants, actually, that's important. Not what the mind wants.
Zone 1.
You do what your body tells you to do.
Zone 2.
Just stepping through another muddy section. Letting Norma catch
Zone
up.
3.
I still haven't seen any turkey tail fungi since I mentioned it. It's like the opposite of the bench lady. I mentioned the turkey tail
What about
and it disappears. This could be, oh, that's a different kind of fungus. That's interesting too. But no, this is, we have some growing in our property, so I know
I don't have to go far.
I don't,
Zone 2.
I don't have to go very far to get a picture of that.
Time for hydration.
40 minutes. 40 minutes of running time, of moving time, I should call it. We've been running about a third of the time.
Zone 1.
No, maybe 2/3 of the time. As we head down towards the weir.
Zone 2.
Still looking for that turkey tail fungus. But I think today's episode is... Hello.
Hi.
Today's episode is going to be the Mr.Rooter run. Because I already advertised it yesterday. This is the weir. I looked up the word weir and it said a wicker fence put in a stream to catch fish. Historically, yes, I guess. It's also a way of managing the water flow in the stream by backing it up so you can navigate the headwaters a little more.
Yeah, but one was a consequence of the other.
Yeah. Once the wattle fence starts to clog up with fish, the level would rise.
Zone 2.
Zone 2 as I head towards Robinwood. Then I'll be back on asphalt. That's when I practice my stealth running.
Zone 3.
I'm going to have to go very slowly. I'm in Zone 3 already. Going to see if I can stay in Zone 3. This is my stealth running.
Zone 4.
I snuck up on it, but she caught me just the same. It's all to do with the gradient, for
Zone
sure.
3.
I noticed when I was on the spin bike yesterday, you know how it has that little lever that adjusts the resistance? I think I was on number 9
Time 42 minutes
for most
52
of the
seconds.
time.
Distance 5 kilometers.
And I put it down
Average
to
pace 9
8.
minutes 56 seconds per
And my
kilometer.
heart rate
Cadence
dropped.
63. Average heart rate 127. Workout average pace 8 minutes 34 seconds per kilometer.
My heart rate dropped, and I thought, well, I can control it. So I squeezed it up a little bit more, and it went back up to 108. It's very easy to control the load. It's very interesting. More so than the sit-down exercise bike machine thing. Much less subtle, the adjustments there. It just has resistance 2, resistance 3.
Yeah, they're not continuous. It's a digital, not an analog
Yeah,
adjustment.
but the one on the spin bike is,
It's analog.
yeah,
You
I
can
could
go in
just tweak
between.
it just a tiny bit.
The hot water.
Yep, and I was toying with the cadence. It was around 81 pedals per second, per minute or whatever. 81 pedals per minute.
Is that one leg?
Maybe, I'm not sure. It was about the same cadence as our running cadence, so it would be one leg, 160. So Mr.Rooter truck is still here. The 5K mark I think we've done. Could be wrong. Maybe we're just coming up to the 5K.
Zone 3.
Zone 3. Maybe I was yakking and missed it. What was that? Not a chance. I'm just waiting for Zone 4.
Zone 4.
There you go. Zone 4. Every time I see big oak trees, I think, uh-oh, that's another one's going to come down. Yeah, I know, that was freakish wind. But I heard an interesting report about the ocean, in the Indian Ocean. Kenya is having terrible floods, and Australia is having terrible drought. And it's because the colder water is heading towards Australia, which means that there's less moisture in the air, and consequently the returning currents are going towards Kenya with moisture in them, and they're getting serious flooding.
Zone 2.
Along with all that locust nonsense. Zone 2.
I think that's it.
No, well, it was part of Africa, somewhere they had locust issues. Yeah, it's huge, I know. It might have been Ghana or Nigeria, the other side altogether.
Zone 3.
Hello. Stay there, Rupert. There goes the 28. We've certainly seen a lot of buses today, 339s and a 28.
Zone 3.
Zone 3. And we're almost home. Zone 4. There's my skinny old friend in his Ford Mustang 5-liter.
Zone 5. Zone 3.
I guess they've given it up. Lucien. It's a French-Canadian name.
Zone 2.
Lucien.
Good job.
Yeah. Would it be a woman's name or a man's name?
It's a man unless it's any.
Or if there's an A, like
No, we wouldn't have
Adrian.
an A in French.
No? Lucienne, like Canadienne.
Adrian is double N-E.
Oh, I see.
Adrian, one single
Is male.
guy carpenter,
Yeah, our builder friend.
builder.
Yeah,
What's that first name?
yeah. He was a plumber, right?
Zone 1.
So he was a carpenter.
Right.
Oh, that explains it. From out in the boonies.
Zone 2.
I think those are kids.
Probably sponsored.
You could read blueprints and all that.
Yeah. He could read blueprints
Yeah,
and take his measurements.
yeah.
Zone 3.
I'm going to take a picture of this toad here. This not toad, what's here? A gnome, a troll. I need a picture. He's got a golf club in his hand, I think. No, it's not a golf club, it's a twig.
Zone Auto pause.
All right.
Workout resumed. Zone 3.
As I put my device away.
Zone 2.
It's about to overtake Norma. So now I have a title photo for my episode.
Zone 3.
What, the gnomes? Yeah, they used to use children in the mines for the same reason. They're small enough to fit in the small tunnels. Still haven't heard Zone 4. Must have been yakking.
Zone 4.
There we go. Alright. So that's the end of the show.